So hi everybody, Steve here from WorkPerfect. I'm a consultant at WorkPerfect, been working with Monday.com for the last 5 years, and I'm accompanied by my solutions engineer, Ankit. And today we're going to show you a Monday.com SAP S/4HANA solution. First, a little bit about WorkPerfect, who we are. We're a Monday.com house. We're also a Google partner, and we specialize in integrations for project management solutions. This one in particular is for clients that are using SAP S/4HANA for finance, and they're either using or looking to use Monday.com as a project management tool. So one of the biggest challenges that people have is that they're typically running projects very effectively in Monday.com, and they're running their finances very effectively in SAP S/4HANA, but it needs them to do one of two things to try and reconcile the two. Either download the project from Monday.com, and there might be multiple projects, so each one of them becomes a downloaded spreadsheet, and then you have to upload it into another spreadsheet and reconcile it against a spreadsheet from SAP, a very cumbersome challenge. The alternative is to go into SAP, download a spreadsheet from there, reconcile it, import it into Monday, and then reconcile it in there. Once again, not very easy. So what we're showing today on this part of this solution, I'm going to hand over to Ankit in a moment, but effectively we're going to give you a little bit of a demonstration about what we've built in Monday.com as a solution so that it can talk to SAP real time, which means as soon as a cost comes into SAP, it also lands in Monday.com and automatically synchronizes with the correct project and in the correct cost code. Okay, so we talked about the elements of this solution. It's Monday.com and SAP, and today we're going to be showing you 3 elements of this. The first element we're going to show you is the portfolio project board. This is effectively what you're seeing on screen now, which is the aggregate of all your projects. As you can see there, I've got projects that are upcoming, I've got some projects that are in progress, and there's one that's completed. This is a typical Monday.com project board, and there's lots of things to see on here, but what we're going to be paying attention to is at the right-hand side of the screen, you've got a budget column, and then you've got a total spend column. And typically when you set up a project, you might be given a budget for that. So that might have come from the approval phase or the initiation of the project, and that might be a number that's most likely nearly set in stone, but is a kind of a fixed number, and you want to track how you're tracking against that. So in this board here, you can see all the projects and all the health and their budget and total spend against it. The second thing we're going to be showing today is the finance board. So this is also in Monday.com, and we can see it here on the screen. This is effectively a direct mirror of what is in your SAP environment. So what you can see on the screen is in these groups, each one of these groups represents a project that's sitting in SAP. So the first one there is a project called Tech Vision Cloud Migration and Infrastructure. Every one of those line items is in fact a journal entry or cost entry in SAP. You can see the first one, third-party material product A, 8,500 USD. I can also see that it's an OPEX, and I can have a categorization there, OPEX or CAPEX. I've got a general ledger account number. It's linked to the particular project in question. It has a profit center, and all the particulars here are going to be a direct mirror of what you have in your SAP environment. You can see it has fields for order IDs, general ledger account name, cost center name, and then you have the amounts, the currency, and the date, and even things like company code and fiscal year. So these are all the particulars that are coming across from SAP. This board is effectively a mirror of your SAP environment based on the rules that you set. So far I've shown you 2 things. I've shown you the project board, which is where you're tracking all your projects, which had 2 numbers, the budget line and the total spend. Show you the finance board, which is effectively a mirror of your SAP. And now what we're going to do is we're going to switch to the SAP view, and in that view we're going to show you how an entry would appear in there and how later what that looks like in Monday.com. So I'll hand over to Ankit to drive it on the screen. So this is what you can see here is, as you can see, the top post journal entries. This is where in actual fact you've got all your particulars, so someone's in charge of lodging these. Now this could come from a number of different entry mechanisms, but effectively this is where the entry gets put in here. You've got the company code, you've got the general ledger account, you've got the amount that's in debit, the currency, and yes, all the other particulars in here. It's USD, and then you've got another entry underneath it, country code, so company code, general ledger account, debit 0, credit 14,500. So it's doing a typical general ledger. It's doing reconciling those 2 amounts. yeah, so now let's post it. So it takes a few seconds, and effectively this is going to leave SAP, and now it's going to have landed in my finance board in Monday.com. But at the moment, after it leaves SAP, it goes into Monday.com, but it's only just sitting in that finance board. So thanks to the solution we built, which is effectively a reconciliation between the two amounts, the solution also tracks that identifier by the project ID and the cost code and maps it against the correct project. So there's the entry there. The I think it's the last one. Oh no, is that one there? Sorry, the third-party material product A. So that's what's come in. And now that is also now going to be matched against the project. As you can see on the fourth column, it's got the project automatically linked to it, and it's used the unique identifier of the project code. So if I now go into my project and portfolio board, I'll be able to see that that cost is reflected in there, and you can see how the total spend has gone up, and there it is there. So that's a bit about what we're showing today. Once again, very simple things to show. The portfolio board in Monday.com, the finance board in Monday.com, which is a mirror of SAP, and then the SAP environment and an integration into Monday.com. Once again, this is very useful to track expenses, OPEX and CAPEXs, and you can do it across projects or other activities. Thank you, Ankit, for putting this together today. And if anyone has any questions, please reach out. You can reach me at steve@workperfect.io, or simply DM me in this LinkedIn post or our YouTube channel. Thank you very much.